Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I have ourselves a track by an act named BSK titled Right Groove. And if we switch over to here, we have it on YouTube. We're going to be listening through this track from start to finish via its official music video. Directed by J Parpworth, Mind of BSK out now, and you can also follow him on Instagram if you can. It's got a fair amount of attention now, 119, 120k views, along with a decent amount of likes. Nice ratio there. Let's get into this. Let's go. Let's do it. Ben Sharp Knowles. Oh, it's very almost lo-fi-ish, kind of colorful, warm, soothing piano line here. Interesting theme.
I'm in the car and I'm chilling with the right groove. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right moves. I know the luck is gonna hit me at the right time. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right rhymes.
He's got a very interesting way of approaching the rapping in his vocals. It's melodic and it's very smooth, and it matches the tone of the kicks, the pianos, the bass, and everything involved.
Floating through life and it's such a long day. I'm making sure everything is going my way. I'm in the car with my cousin and my bro Tom, and never forget to always thank your mom, cause life is short. But I know that I'm killing it, enjoying every moment, and you know that I be chilling with my bro with the right flow. I got a tradition to keep making all this music like it was my only mission.
I like how he's just talking about chatting with his mates and being thankful and making it work. It's kind of wholesome in a weird kind of way. The strings are a nice development in this part of the track.
Going well with the breeze, and I'm enjoying these tunes, and my cousin agrees. I know that life can be tough, but just take it all with ease, cause you can.
I know that life can be tough, but just take it all with ease. I think that's a really charming line. This guy, he's a likable rapper, and I don't often come across those, not because I go out of my way to dislike him, but because sometimes they're a bit affronting, It's a little bit too full on, or I can't necessarily relate to him.
Seize the moment, acquire hold of your dreams, and reach right into your mind, your supplier of schemes, and come up with your ideas, no matter how hard they seem.
Interesting drum beat as well. You have some interesting 16th note choices with those snares that are kind of unique.
And I'm chilling with the right groove. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right moves. I know the luck is gonna hit me at the right time. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right rhymes. I'm in the car and I'm chilling with the right groove. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right moves. I know the luck is gonna hit me at the right time. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right rhymes.
The jazzy accompaniment to it with this electric bass kind of flowing around the fretboard and gliding around the place with a bit of mid-range coloration alongside the really airy glossy strings on the side and the piano lines. And there's not a lot of change to either of his melodies or vocal lines in the chorus in comparison to the verse or the initial motif, but it's still nice to listen to.
It's just like life, when you move in your car, you gonna hit some bumps. Remember, with life you need to gain the courage to make the jump. Don't care what people say, let them live their lives in sorrow, whether family or friends. Better yourself for tomorrow. I'm gonna borrow all the knowledge from the greats that used to live, implement it in my rhyme, so there's knowledge I can give.
It's smooth, man.
I'll acquire the best, give it all to my kids so that I know they are blessed, cause I'm not stressed, I'm in focus when I'm cruising in this.
I like the fact that we completely cut the drums out effectively for this half of the second verse. It's a nice change of pace on the first. I think we were aware that things were sounding a little bit too similar with what we had before. I'm not really sure what you could put in. I mean, I could definitely come up with ideas, but I'm not sure, given with what we've introduced, what else you could do to make this sort of more distinct than the first verse. The reason I say that is because typically you want the second verse, especially if you go near the outro of a song, to have a little bit extra something there, just something different, a different color, a different texture, a different timbre, just to kind of say, hey, listener, here, look, this is something else for you to take in whilst you hear the rest of the story, just to kind of keep them engaged,
All the bad moments will cower as I start to devour them all with my vibe, as I thrive in the car, moving at this good speed. I'm grooving, improving my words. Yes, I am a different breed. I'm in the car.
I'm a different breed. Talking about the way that he raps and he operates as a musician. That's interesting.
And I'm chilling with the right groove. I'm making sure that I'm making all
repeaters.
the right moves. moves. I know that luck is
Why
gonna
only on the
hit me
right?
at the right time. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right rhymes. I'm in the car.
Why is the repeater only on the right side?
And I'm chilling with the right groove. I'm making sure that I'm
Am I
making
tripping?
all the right moves. I know that luck is gonna hit me at the right time. I'm making sure that I'm making all the right rhymes.
That was a little bit better on the left. Am I tripping there? Like, I'm pretty sure that I wasn't getting the repeater as strong on the left as the right. Oh, we got some vocal parts in the background, some stuff, you know, some choir bits. That's nice. That's a very subtle layer that we have there. The production on this track is exquisite. I really like the accompaniment. And to be fair, it's also a dope jacket that he has on there. I love fashion nowadays, man. It's fantastic. Okay, and I suppose that was the track, right? Yeah, that was it, I think. Yeah. There we go. Because this is the conclusion of my review of BSK's Right Groove. So the track, I think, was about BSK chatting about the fact that he's a rapper who knows exactly what he needs to do when he writes and performs songs. But not just his career as a rapper, but also the way he operates in life as well. You can see the woman in the car with him, driving along, having a great time. Very in charge of and position his life and talking about how he wants to hang with his mates and stuff like that and just chill and vibe and all that. And I think that's a really charming way to approach a song, a first impression. I think that's a lot more relatable, at least to me personally, than someone just straight going out the whole, yo, I'm the biggest person out there or something like that, or you haven't heard something like this before. Ironically, because at this point, after doing almost 2 years of reviews, I have heard a lot of things before. So if you go for more of a, yo, I'm just hanging with my mates and doing the best I can and being gracious for stuff and making good decisions, that's going to be way more relatable. So that's cool. So we got the relatability quotient sorted. The vocal performance was it was definitely enough. How do I put this? I think the flow was great. The rhythmic sequencing, the almost percussive vibe of it was cool. We knew the power of repeating not only, you know, rhythmic phrases, but also the melodies within them. And I liked the fact that in the second verse we showed off a little bit. You did that kind of quicker, kind of 16th, 30-second stuff, depending on how you sort of phrase the tempo. But yeah, clearly the guy's got bars. I don't know if I would have necessarily have wanted more, I don't know, range to the way he approached the emotional articulation of it, to sort of like stress that I do like the way he rapped. It's just that it would have been cool if it maybe kind of flipped music or chopped the music up a little bit occasionally, just to have him go, oh, da 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 da. You know, like kind of mix up those melodies, because the first verse was very strong, and then with the second we had a very similar type of strategy to creating to going through those stanzas, and it's just that's the only real mild sort of could we have done something different that I have. I ultimately enjoyed his vocals, and they're very easy to listen to. I think that it's so calming and so peaceful that as someone who was up at 6 a.m. this morning thinking he had COVID, it puts me in the mood where I could probably just sit on a couch and just chill for a while. You know, I do appreciate, though, his finesse as a rapper. He sounds like he's polished, and I'm sure he'll create lots of interesting stories for us to listen to in future. One of the more friendlier rappers I've listened to anyways. To go into the structure, you had a verse chorus kind of vibe to it, if I'm not mistaken. Or did he start with a chorus? Yeah, no, he did actually start with the chorus, if I'm not mistaken. So basically it was like a hook, verse, hook, kind of B-A-B-A-B structure, and that's fine. You know, I think that we didn't necessarily need to overcomplicate things. For us to simply have a story that went back to the original message was enough for this first impression. I would like to see how we experiment with future releases. Do we want to do some interludes? Do we want to maybe have some different instrumental sections there? Are we relying on a main motif for the entire song, or are we going to start working with different types of instruments? Because with the instrumental accompaniment, we had basses and the drums, which had a really interesting groove. We had some 16ths on like the R's of the four-yanders, on the end of each of the bars, and it's like it was a kind of a pseudo breakbeat, and I was like, yeah, that's really dope. It could have been cool to have some fills, some drum fills in there, The bass guitar was definitely enough. The strings, as occasional as they were more than welcome where they were, and the piano melody was exquisite and I think well designed. I think if we'd changed up the piano melody too much, it might have distracted from what was going on there, but we could have potentially added some harmonies or interval phrasings on top of what we had in the melodies for the tail ends of those sections. The recording, mixing, and mastering and production in general was great. I think that we have people in charge here who really know how to get the most commercial sounding release with the raw materials. And BSK is a great rapper. You have people who know how to write and arrange those different instruments and put them into the various positions they need to be. And both the stereo filter and the frequency spectrum, the filtering and effects change in them are fantastic. I didn't know, again, this could just be my headphones, although, no, they could just be the headphones. Let's just say they could be the headphones. There was more of a right side resonance to the repeaters in that chorus on the last line. It may just be something to look at for future releases. I could be tripping, but I assume I'm hearing the version that everyone else is. So it's okay though. Again, you don't necessarily need to have both sides having the repeater, and sometimes people will actually just have a focus on one side so they can maybe have something else on the left. People will sometimes do that with instrumental solos. I think this is a track where we've shown the potential for ourselves, including limiting compression, by the way, was fantastic. I think that Right Groove shows potential for BSK. His full name, of course, Ben Sharp Knowles. Yes. So I think Ben Sharp Knowles has a future ahead of him. I look forward to what he does next. It'll be cool to see whether he continues to remain inside this niche that he's got presented within this track, or whether he decides to do more and kind of go outside the box, but we'll see. Until then, effectively, this is my review of BSK's Right Groove. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.